to lead or to manage people, not manage tasks. You should not be treating everybody in the same way. Treating them equally, yes, but not in the same way. Learn how to close your mouth.
The first step for us can be awareness of the different types of culture.
Ask why 5 times to find the answer or the root cause of any problem.
Yeah.
You may be very competent to do the tasks that your role implies, but we made a mistake and we'll fix it. No names.
Are there any tips and tricks to ask better questions? Have you ever wondered what makes a great leader beyond those fancy titles and tactics? Or struggled to balance between empathy and accountability? Or just questioned, what is that one skill that I must master right away to excel at work? If you've nodded along to even one of these questions, today's podcast is just for you. Welcome to Bookshelf to Boardroom, where we turn big leadership ideas into everyday lessons that you can apply at work. And today's podcast is all about what makes great leadership, not just in theory, but in practice. And to unpack this complicated topic, I am joined by Delfin Vassallo, a seasoned professional with more than 20 years of experience in driving business transformation, leading diverse teams, and also helping organizations grow. Thank you, Delfin, for being with us today. I'm genuinely so excited and thrilled to have this conversation with you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Alright, so let's get started. And to help our audience connect with you better, would you like to start by talking a little bit about yourself, your work?
Sure. It's been a long journey. I have been now 20 for 30 years around. I have been working in different big corporations, small ones, in 5 different countries: Mexico, Spain, Italy, the UK, and Finland 2 times. And my specialty is marketing and in general business development. And I have led teams from 5 up to 150 people from every country in the world that you can imagine. So that has been a really nice journey and a humble one, and a lot of learnings along the way.
Awesome. So then there's no waiting anymore, and I know we are not doing a physical workout, but this podcast is going to be sort of like a mental workout, and any good workout starts with a warm-up. So for us to warm up a little bit, let me ask you an interesting question. What do you recommend as a quote or a reminder or a message that you would like to be on a billboard so that every young aspiring leader who's going on to the office sees that every morning?
As an advertising professional, that's how I started. So I know how those billboards should be written. So that's another bonus. So no more than 5 words.
Okay.
So when you're driving, you don't see. One of the things that I have learned along the way is I have not been brave enough many times to make decisions on time, and sometimes I regret. Or I started to learn how to not regretting anything. What I put there in that hypothetical billboard is literally: be brave, never regret.
Wow.
And those are 4 words actually.
Just
be brave,
5 words line. Yeah.
be brave, never regret.
Be brave, never regret. Alright, so even if you don't see that billboard when you're off to work on Monday, do imagine that be brave and never regret. Alright, so with that, we're moving on to our first segment of this podcast, and it's called How Great Leaders Think. So we'll start with the fundamentals here. So in your introduction, we understand, all of us, that you must have led a lot of complex projects with a lot of ambiguous data, with a lot of decisions we just talked about that needed to be made quickly, but also with future business impact in mind. What's that one skill that every leader must start developing to tackle challenges like these?
When you're a team leader, you should be aware that and the word says it, team, meaning people. You should start learning to lead or to manage people, not manage tasks. And that's a very important difference, because you may have your to-do list or everybody, and they know what they have to do. It's written there and it should be clear. But the focus shouldn't be on the task itself, but in the person, on what the person is thinking, what the person is capable to do. Is the person capable to do the task that he or she has at hand or not? And that's when I have tried to focus on managing the person, putting myself on their shoes. Sometimes it's difficult, and there are many nuances about this. Culture does matter, much more than what you may imagine. We all come from different backgrounds, cultures, linguistic background, different education, regardless of the country where you come from. You have been taught in certain way how to behave in society. But when you move to another society, to another country, to another team, international team, those behaviors may be different, may impact. So you as a team leader, a people manager, should acknowledge those differences, should recognize them, and more often than not, you should not be, this, I don't know how this sounds, but you should not be treating everybody in the same way. Treating them equally, yes, but not in the same way. Maybe we can elaborate on that.
Because their needs are different?
Yeah. First, put yourself, and this has to do with empathy, with emotional intelligence, putting yourself in the shoes of that person. And because you were there at some point, if you are already in your 30s, 40s, and you have certain experience, and you become, or start to become a leader, you were at some point part of a team. So you can recognize that with that person you with 2-3 years of experience, or just starting their career, you were there. Yeah. 3 years back, you were there. How did you feel? How did you feel when your first boss told you something, or gave you an instruction, or gave you a project, or remember those things. So putting yourself, or trying to put yourself in the shoes of the person based on what's their role in the team or in the project, and second, from where, literally, from where that person comes, and what is the cultural background that that person may have. And based on that, your behavior as a leader may adapt. You have to adapt to them, not the other way around. So, yeah, we can elaborate more about the culture aspect, but putting yourself in the shoes of your team.
Got it. On the culture aspect, because you had also mentioned about you've worked with people across cultures, across countries, right? Do you ever catch yourself, or did in the past, having some biases or blind spots, because you may not have come from those cultures, you may not have some visibility over that, and how do you correct yourself, or how do you keep yourself in check?
Right, we all have biases, and the worst thing is that when we do not realize that we have biases, we do not know what we don't know. We should start by the leadership journey by getting to know ourselves first, and being self-aware of who I am, where I come, and in any minimally decent company, all the leaders should be trained, should provide guidance, and there's many frameworks outside there, the Brits-Myers, and many other leaders.
And the Johari window, which tells you what you know about yourself.
Yeah, exactly, and the color ones, and the animal ones, and the letters, and the whatever. So, yeah, there are many of those ones, no preference for any. But the thing that those frameworks or those trainings teach you is to get to know yourself better. I remember when we were in this, actually specifically the Brits-Myers typology. I am ENTP, whoever knows that, so they will acknowledge value that, ENTP, which stands for extrovert. Okay. And I shared, or we shared amongst the leadership team, after we concluded, the different typologies of the different people. And each one of us was telling how do we feel about it. And the other team members of the leadership team were telling each one of us what they perceived, how we were perceived by them. Yeah. And the rule was that I couldn't say anything. The person in question, the person being evaluated, couldn't say anything. Okay. Just silence and just let it. And you learn lots of things. How the other leaders are perceiving you. Yeah. And hence also that's how your team members or all other people across the organization may perceive you. And you may get some surprises. How do they perceive you? Yeah. Good things, bad things. Okay, that was pretty open-minded environment, and we were trusting each other, and we just this was in a Finnish environment, so it's very transparent, open communication, flat organizations, and at some point it's like you say what you mean and you mean what you say, and boom, bloom. So okay, yeah. So, but you learn how others are perceiving you, and that's the first step. To be aware of how the others are perceiving you, and if there's something that it's just you being you. It's not that it's wrong or right. It's just you being you. But you should acknowledge that, and you should be aware of those personality traits or characteristics. I don't know. Myself, putting myself as the first point to critique. I talk a lot. It's just part of myself, part of the extrovert part of the cultural background, if you want. I talk a lot. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it depends on the others.
If I am leading a team and I am the only one who is talking, I don't think that's a good thing. First thing that I acknowledge, I should listen twice the time that I speak. Learn how to close your mouth, the thing, and listen to what they are saying. And there's a reason why they are saying what they are saying, because they are perceiving you. So,
I love that you talked about start with first knowing how others are perceiving you. And I'd like to give you also an example. So at work, I know someone who happens to come out as rude. She's not rude, but she's just very straightforward. And some people can misinterpret as being rude. So when she realized how she's being perceived at, one small change that she made, because you said we are as we are, we can't really change ourselves from one direction to the completely other one. She just started whenever she met new people by saying, hey, this is how I am. Mm-hmm. If I ever come out as rude to you, please come and let me know, because that's not my intention. And even though that's just like a 2-second conversation, that really made other members feel at ease, because they knew that she wasn't attacking them. It was just her personality. So once we know how we are being perceived, we can take small actions to kind of curate our environment in a way where it's received in a better way.
And here's where the culture may come into place, the cultural background. That person that is outspoken, direct, blunt, comes across as rude. She or he knows it, okay, acknowledge, is communicating to the people, hey, I am like that, so it's nothing against. If I say something, just please say. Okay, now let's go to the other side. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the team. If it is a team of the people in that team are mostly from a Nordic culture background, a Dutch culture, they will acknowledge it and they will do it. If I don't like what you are saying, boom, I just say it, and that's the way it is.
Open,
because the background of those cultures are several things. First, they are individualistic cultures as collectivists, so they take themselves as first. Second, the power distance is very low, because they're flat organizations, and particularly the Dutch people are very direct because it's part of the culture. Be honest to the extreme, no matter who they are talking to. So if that's that culture, it can be okay. But what happens if in your team you have people from a German background, from a Latin, whether it's Latin America, Mediterranean, it's more the same behavior, from India, from Far East, where the power distance is way higher. The boss is respected. The boss is there for a reason. The boss, whatever he or she says, we don't question it. We do it because we were taught to do it like that. Because the authority that person earned, by whatever means, but that we don't question that, we just accept it. If the person comes and tells me something even rude, I'm not going to contest that. As the touch of the Nordics maybe, because it's very inside of me that I should not challenge my boss. In Japan, that is super high, the power is super high. There you go. That person may be open and nice and say, yes, if I say something, I am coming across rude. So just say it, tell it to me. Kind of respond to, so push back on me. But if there's a person from this type of societies, be sure that they're not going to do it, no matter what.
So I think at least the first step for us can be awareness of the different types of culture. You talk about power, distance, and for our audience, if you're interested to learn a little bit more about this, there's a book called Culture Map that can be a good start, which can give you an overview of a little bit what Delfin was just talking about. But Delfin, in the beginning of my question, I had asked you about making difficult decisions, sometimes making it with ambiguous data and making it fast. Whenever I go around searching for key skills to learn, one skill that always pops up is critical thinking. What do you have to say about it? Do you think that's the base for that really builds up on these decisions that we have to make under high pressure and high visibility, high risk, or what is it?
Yes, and actually critical thinking is one of the skills, personal skills, that is the least common, to be honest. And this applies whether it's a team lead or a team member, that you should be constantly questioning the way you do certain things, questioning the way the process is set up, questioning the results of the research. And this comes, actually, critical thinking is a crucial skill nowadays when we are bombarded everywhere, mainstream media, social media, whatever, with lots of information, true or not, there you go, fake or not, which we don't know at this point. The technology has come to a point that we cannot differentiate, just by common sense, we cannot differentiate if that's correct, if that's true or not. If you go one layer deeper, it's okay, why is that? What the person is saying that? Is that research, the statement of that research says, okay, why they are saying that? Which is the data behind that is proving, that is substantiating that that claim. If there's a research, where that research was done, how big is the sample, how then was the methodology. I mean, really, like being critic, and many times I have been presented with statements, with research, with many things, and I start to ask questions.
Okay.
And either the person presenting or they don't know, because they just ate it. They just receive and ate it without questioning. And when I come and they bring to me, okay, have you thought about this? Oh, no. I'm just being critical and critical thinking. So why? I just want to get down to the bottom. And if you are presenting me certain result, certain statement, I want to be sure that it is factually true and it's applicable to whatever we are doing. So that is, I would say, make questions.
Okay, so behind the very scary critical thinking skill, it's deep down, it's just about looking at what you're seeing or receiving and asking questions, analyzing, and basically bringing it down to why. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that how they can develop?
Yes, and actually two things. Making questions, and that's applicable from whatever piece of information or project or result you are presented. Also, when guiding the people, what I have learned, power is try not to give orders, but to ask questions. If you want this kind of a coaching thing, mentoring thing, I don't even know what the difference, to be honest, strict difference, but making questions so the person will conclude in the thing that I want him or her to conclude. So that is one. I have been in certain situations when you have to make a decision fast under pressure, something, and that's when, as a leader, you may take two things into consideration. The data that you have, the hard number data, whatever, that may be not complete. We should be okay with that, with incomplete data. And second, what my experience is telling me. And yes, that is something that you just get with the years. There's no other way. Experience only comes with the years, but that's no way around there. And I have been in situations when one of my team leads, she was presenting something, and I was like, but we need to decide now. And I was like, okay, so let's do this and that, and kind of going not exactly what she was suggesting, like, but no, why do you think so? We should do this because just please, we have to get out of this quickly. Let's just do it. I can elaborate more later, but let's just do it. Okay. That was at certain point, you have to be a bit or giving the order because it's under pressure. But the data, I know, is telling me that should be that way, but my gut feeling, because being there, done that. I remember 10 years ago, I was in this same situation, and we had this type of marketing campaign, blah, 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 and I made the decision and in that point to go left, and it was wrong. 10 years later, I am presenting almost the same situation, same type of data, and I know now I should go to the right, because I know it. No matter what the data said, I know it. And that's what I told her, like, no matter, she was like, oh, no, come on. Just please bear with me. Let's just do it like this. Go, boom, go. 1 week later, she comes like, you were right. Well, okay, now we sat together and we start to discuss. Like, but how did you know? I just knew it. Don't ask me what, but I couldn't explain you in the moment, and it was not that I want to impose my will, but it's because of this situation, and I'm elaborating on my thought, my way of thinking. Okay, and then now she understood. But then in the moment we have to make a decision fast under pressure. Whoa, I do it. I made the decision. That's it. Explanations come later. Okay. But that's when I showed her, look, it's just experience. No matter the data was saying something, my gut feeling and my experience told me that we should do something different. And in the end, we were right. And she was like, and that's when sometimes this whole common saying of, we are data-driven. We shouldn't. We should be data-informed. It's not semantics, it's not grammar. We should be data-informed. Take into account the numbers, data, whatever it is, but make your call based on the data, but also based on your strategy, on your objectives, on your own experience, because if you're in a position to make a decision, clearly you have been there already for some time. I mean, I suppose. So that is the thing about making decisions fast, under pressure, making questions for guiding the people. And you mentioned something about, you mentioned the key question, why? Yeah. Which is maybe familiar, the Toyota way, the 5 whys. Ask why 5 times to find the answer or the root cause of any problem. Yeah. Normally, you will get the answer between the second and the third why. You will get it. you will never get to the 5 or to the 50. That's 5 times why.
Why? Okay, so if I could summarize everything you just said, which is difficult, but for any young aspiring leader that's seeing this, critical thinking, we decoded that to the why. We also talked about data plus experience. So if you're someone without that experience, you can leverage people in your teams, in your company that have that experience and keep moving. So don't give up if you feel like, oh no, but I don't have the experience yet, because it comes with time, like you mentioned. Another thing, you started segment 1 by talking about don't manage tasks, manage people. And that brings us to our segment 2, which is understanding people. And I would like to start by asking you, and you kind of touched upon it in your previous answer as well, that when you work with hundreds of people, you can sometimes start to see through who is leading with authority and who is leading with influence. Do you see a difference between the two? Do you have a preference between the two? What are your thoughts? Leading with authority versus leading with influence.
Depending on the environment that you are, and that's part of how adaptive you may be. In companies with this high power distance, well, you may have to be authoritative, because that's the way the company works. If you don't do it, you may very easily come across as weak. Not because you are, because the environment is presenting. The conditions of the environment are making you look like weak. It's kind of a complicated thing. If you ask me how I would do it, definitely guiding the people by influence, and this has a lot to do with psychology, with social psychology, actually, which are the motivations the people to do things. And what I like to do is give my teamwork, give the people a reason to do the things. So they will do the things or the project by themselves because they want to, because they believe they believe in it. Not because the high boss is telling them, is giving an order. And that's when you get the best results, when the people find themselves, what's in it for me? And they find and they do it. Because it truly comes from their initiative, from the bottom of their heart or their mind to do the things. Yes, you influence a bit, you steer it, but that's how I would like to take much more like influence rather than authority. Okay. Unless you are in the army, of course, but then otherwise I would say in the modern corporate world it should be more human approach and by influence.
Thank you for sharing that. And in the beginning, when you talked about if you don't lead with authority, it may sometimes come out as weak. And my question is, these days there's a lot of conversation about the power of being vulnerable with people, being honest with what your struggles are. But at a situation or a setting like a workplace, you also don't want to seem as incompetent. You want to be vulnerable, but you also want to create that balance. You don't want it to backfire. Do you ever think about this? Do you know how to balance this out?
Well, it's a very complicated or delicate balance act, if you will. Yes, you touch two things. Competency. You may be very competent to do the tasks that your role implies, and because your knowledge, your studies, your experience, etc., that should always come up. If you are a leader that is showing vulnerability, in my mind, those things are not conflicting. I show my human side, and I have done it, really, in our meetings, at some point with my key team leader, my people, and at some point I say, guys, I'm like getting burned out, I'm desperate with this, just please take it in your hands, go yourself, and you know how to do the things, and I was like kind of returning the authority to them, and that's another key. Return of authority, that's another tactic that you can, or another tool that you can use. But I was vulnerable. I was showing myself like, hey, at this point I don't feel like, because many things in life, I'm sick, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not, I am always the tough boss.
Yeah.
I am a human like you, and I have problems like everybody, and I get sick like everybody, not that often actually. But yeah, being vulnerable is shows your humanity, and your team acknowledges that. Well, he's a person after all. I mean, the bosses are also persons. So yeah, I would pretty much continue that vulnerability, or also showing when we have made a mistake. I used to, I don't know why I lost that habit, but I don't know why. In our monthly meetings with my team, we started many times with, what did you screw up this week or this month? Tell us a mistake that you made. And I start first. I go first. As a leader, I go first.
Yeah.
You know, because last week in this conference call, when I said this and said I should not have not said that because of blah 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 blah. So yes, and then my other team members said, well, yeah, I did this, and what I do, or what we all do, we celebrate the mistake. We celebrate the screw up. We should not be afraid of recognizing and showing our mistakes. But hey, now we all know, now we learn, hopefully we learn from the mistake, and we don't do it again. And others can learn from my mistakes that they do. And that was a pretty nice way to break the ice, not because there was no child, but to start in a positive note.
Yeah. And I think if you are sharing it, and if I was in your team, it would make me also feel comfortable to take a little bit more risk, try new things, and feel okay that even if I mess this up, it's fine. I can learn from it and then grow from it. So
you made a mistake, and that's the point. We all make mistakes, no matter what. Sooner or later, you will make a mistake. You will need to acknowledge it, to fix it, whatever it was, big or small. But you will need to tell your manager that, hey, I did this, but hey, I did this other thing to correct it. Or I just don't know how to correct it, so that's why I'm coming to you.
Yes.
That helped me. But that person, in doing that, that person shows the trust that I have in you. Trust is the most important thing on a team, and it's one of the most important things any leader should cultivate.
Wow. Thank you, Delfin, for sharing that. Another dilemma that I always have is, we need to care about people. We need to feel that human connection that you were talking about in teams to work sustainably for a long period of time. And sometimes that conflicts with holding them accountable. Do you feel that, or is it just me struggling with it? Having empathy, but also holding people accountable.
Yes, it may seem that they don't go together, because we may have a good atmosphere in our team, positive, etc. But when we need to do things, when we need to deliver things, and each one should know what are they responsible for, and they are not just responsible, they are accountable to deliver certain things. And if I have seen that the thing is not happening, I may, in general, depending on the situation, in our team meetings, I will say, so how is this going? Is it going down? No. If I see, putting myself in the shoes of the person, if I see that the person is struggling, or it's just, I can see that she doesn't know where to go. So then that is a conversation to be taken separately, one-on-one, and just asking, are you okay? First, are you okay? Are you struggling with this? No? Yes? Tell me, let's do it together. That's why I am here, to support you, and let's get it done. My most important task as a team leader is to make you successful. That should be my most important thing. Now, if you are not delivering, you are because of, yeah, we all have problems at home and this. Well, I understand that, but hey, remember that we need to deliver this by this time, by this, not being not ordered, but just a reminder. Is it okay? Are you on track to deliver, complete, whatever by this day? Yes or no? I mean, openly. Yeah. Having built the trust before, they may say, hey, no, because of A, B, C, D, or because I have a roadblock. Ah, there you go. You have a roadblock. I didn't know. Let's fix it. Or many other things. If they acknowledge that they are not going to be able to deliver on time or whatever, okay, then I know. Just keep pushing, doing, because that's your responsibility, and I will find a way to make it easy for you not to deliver that to the outside of our team. And that's why I always say when there was a success story, I call it publicly. This was a very good thing from this lady who did the trade publicly. When that same lady may have done something wrong or there's a mistake, there's no names. We, the marketing team, we made a mistake. As a leader, I take I assume the responsibility of that. We made a mistake and we will fix it. No names, no public shame, of course. That's the worst thing you can do. But that person may feel that, of course. He's talking about me. Yeah. But yeah, it's been firm, but kind. You may maybe have heard this tough love combination. It's the first time I heard it. It doesn't go together, being tough and being nicely lovable. But yeah, so I learned, tough love, and we should do what we should do.
Got it. One thing I observed in both the segments, the segment one where how leaders think and segment two, understanding people, in both we touched about asking questions. We recently talked about getting to know where the roadblocks are, accountability, and the other one, critical thinking. And that's a great segue to our segment 3, which is diving deeper into power of asking questions. And we're going to start with another interesting question for you. Based on your experience so far, would you agree or would you like to share with us any example where a question or a series of questions changed the way you delivered a project or conducted a meeting, or maybe your approach to leadership? Question changing, you had something set in mind, but all of that changed because of a question. Can questions have that power?
Yes, definitely. Yes, the answer is yes. Whether I came up with the question myself and applying to my work or project that I was handling, or was someone else who came with a different perspective, if I am the first one making questions and encouraging the people to make questions, when somebody comes and questions me or throws me a question, because first, be grateful, welcome the critic, welcome the question, and think why this person is questioning me this way. Maybe I am wrong. And second, those questions, okay, let's go deeper into the specific nitty-gritty that you are mentioning about that, and that makes the person feel taken into account. We may end up not going the way you say, but anyway, thank you for being critical and bringing a different perspective, and and enriching the discussion of how we are dealing with this project or this program, whatever we are doing. Yes, I am the first one that many times I need to acknowledge that, hey, well, I was not exactly right. No matter what the data said, no matter what my gut feeling was telling me, it came out that it was something totally different. Yeah. And I have even meetings with our partners, etc. We're like, okay. And then my thing is, she was saying this, and that, and I was like, okay, I will do it in a different way, but I will leave her. And she was just looking at me, like looking for with her eye, for my approval. She was looking for my approval, and I was just like,
stoic.
No, stoic. I said, fine, and then criticizing and going in a different way in which I would have gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, you are accountable for your area, for your work stream, and even the people from the parent, from the artists were like, okay, if she's saying that, do we do it? And also they were turning to me, like, is it okay, Delfin? What the lady said. You heard the lady, what she said? Oh, okay. Yeah. And I removed myself, so she was leading and questioning, and I said, let's do it your way. Empowering her. And separately, when we finished separately, she was like, thank you very much. I thought you were going to go against. No, why? And I openly said, I did not agree where you were going. I thought, but I understood your point. I understood your criticism, the way why you were questioning it, and you have the benefit of the doubt. Well, no, there was not that, but so I didn't want to challenge you. Let's go and do it the way you propose. Because you will be accountable for the result. If this is not what you, yes, okay, fine, there you go. Everything went fine in the end. But again, trust. She felt I was trusting her no matter I did not agree with her questioning, with her criticism.
But that empowerment that you gave her, I think that would have given her 100% more energy to go ahead with whatever she had proposed and make it come through.
Yes.
So
yes, and making her feel more empowered, more self-confident for next time she would have to make any decision, similar decision.
Wow. And I know we always say that no question is good or bad, but are there any tips and tricks to ask better questions?
That's a good question. I guess it all comes down to getting down to the why we are doing this, why this should be done this way or not. I guess the key question is why.
So why questions are always better than what and how questions?
Yes. Why we are doing this, if we are clear with why we are doing this, in the end,
how can we figure it?
How we will figure out what to do specifically. We will figure out, but we are clear on the purpose. The why question leads you to the purpose of what you are doing. Okay. So yes, I would say that's the most important.
That's a good one.
That's the most important question that you should throw.
Got it. And Delfin, do leaders feel the pressure to always walk in with answers, and is it okay for them to say, hey, I don't know, I'll figure it out, or you help me figure this out? Or do leaders usually feel that, hey, I should know the answers now that I come with this experience and I'm in this position?
No, you should not have, or if you don't have the answer, you don't have the answer. That's it. And that communicates maturity on you. Mm-hmm. And we are not almighty or everything. No. And actually, this is also a tip when you are presenting something in a meeting to high bosses or selling something to a potential customer, whatever the environment. If I have been in those situations, the board meeting, and then they throw me a question, and I did not have the answer. I did not know how to answer. And I just say, acknowledge, I understand that you are asking this because of this, and I agree that that's an important thing to consider. At this point, I do not have a concrete answer because I don't have the data, I don't have the background. Yeah. Let me take note, and I will come back to you tomorrow when I check the source of whatever I need to check. It is okay Do not invent anything.
Yeah.
Do not come up
That
with
you
it.
can regret later.
Yeah, exactly. So that shows you are human. You don't have all the answers. You are not expected to have all the answers, but you commit to find the answer by tomorrow, next week, whatever. When you collect information or find out exactly, and of course do it.
Yeah,
of course. Do it.
Yeah, follow it up.
If you are telling normally in this type of high-level meetings, it's not okay. I will let you know next month. No, I will collect the information. I will think about that, and I will make a proposal by tomorrow.
And then follow through.
And then,
yeah.
Well, lots of coffee. And then you have to do it.
Yes.
That's sometimes how it goes in business.
Thank you. And this brings us to our next segment. We briefly touched upon self-awareness. And I know a few weeks ago you recommended a book called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker to me. And that's exactly the name of our segment, Managing Oneself.
Okay, yeah.
And the first question that I have for you on that is there something you learned about yourself through the years that changed the way you work or changed the way you lead? Something you self-reflected and that completely changed the way you work or you lead? Has there been a realization like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And coming back to getting to know yourself and how the other ones are perceiving you. As I said, yes, I talk a lot, and at some point, one of the very senior leaders that he told me, is your personality, is your culture, is okay, I understand all that, but try to listen, don't listen to answer, listen to understand. Why? Because more often than not, the other person was throwing me a question, and maybe the other person was not even finishing the question, and I was already jumping with the answer, with this, rebuttal, whatever. And that's what he meant.
That don't
listen
to respond.
Not
listen
to respond, listen
understand.
to understand.
Yeah.
And then, if there's an answer that should come, then answer. If not, then that's okay. So that came as a result of how that person and everybody's perceiving me as impulsive, because I didn't think or went through, meditated, answer one, and then speak. And that has been one of the, when I realized that, yes, I should listen much more than what I talk, going against my own personality or my own, but that's when you learn those things along the way.
Another thing that this book talks about is know your strengths. So if there are people watching this podcast who are struggling to figure out their own strengths, what is it that they can do to find that out?
What are you good at? I mean, at that comes, we come back to the self-awareness thing, which is not that evident, it's not that automatic, but being self-aware of where you are, what you do, your skills, your weaknesses, so that is, and hence your strength. So that is one of the key things. If you don't realize by yourself, well, you can. That's why mentors exist. That they also, their role, what I have been mentoring is, again, making questions to get you to conclude that, hey, you are really good at this. No matter what you think of yourself, just look at the result, look at the evidence. You are good at this, you are good at that. If you need someone, well, get a mentor.
Yeah.
Get a mentor. I would have liked to have a mentor when I was 20-something, 30-something. That would have been super, super insightful. I never had one.
But how to find mentors?
Depending where you are, since we are in Finland, there's several associations, several ways to get them, even whether it's online or several associations from the Chamber of Commerce of Finland, from the ESPO Talent Network. There are many No, they are governmental, but there are many organizations that actually provide this.
Okay.
And there is the culture of mentorship is very very embedded also in this country, and not just being you a 22-year young guy that is starting your career. And I have a mentor, which is of course a person way much older than me, with much more experience, that has built businesses 3 times and sold them in Finland and built big marketing agencies, and yeah, when I listen to him when we go and have coffee or dinner or whatever, yes, it's like, yeah, have you realized it? Well, no. Why? Because he has much more experience. Actually, he doesn't say, he makes me questions. That, okay, yeah, are you doing this, Delfin? Are you doing that? But now, until now, in my career, I'm getting a mentor. Yes, if you can get one as early as possible, get it. Yes, it helps a lot to build your self-awareness and to be, to identify your strengths and your weaknesses.
Okay, so note for everyone, a to-do list for us is to find a mentor. That brings us to our final segment. I don't know where time flew, and this is a rapid fire round. So here are the rules. Yeah, gear up with your coffee. Just like any good workout, we talked in the beginning about that analogy. We are now in the final phase of this mental workout. So we're gonna pump up the energy. Rules. As soon as you hear the question, just answer whatever comes in your mind. Do not overthink it.
Sure.
There are going to be 5 questions. Number 1, a book that every leader or aspiring leader should read.
2, Managing Oneself from Drucker.
Yeah.
And I'm now halfway of the Black Belt on Leadership by Asbat Silva. I'm halfway, but it's really good.
Black Belt in Leadership.
Black Belt in Leadership.
Okay. Next. Best piece of leadership advice you ever received?
Listen twice. Speak less.
Love it. Love it. Number 3. A habit young professionals should drop immediately.
Overthinking.
Okay, that was cool.
Overthinking, yes. That's the number 1 blocker.
Number 4. Trait you instantly admire in leaders.
A trait?
Yeah, that you admire in leaders.
Empathy. Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. Finally, last one. You're doing great. Something you do every morning, a morning with rituals that sets the tone for your day.
Common answer would get a coffee. No. Well, yeah, get a coffee, that's one. Or tea. Get a dog.
Get a dog?
Get a dog, because what I do every morning is to take the dog out, because the dog has to get out to do their things.
Yeah.
To the forest. No matter the weather, no matter if it's Saturday or Sunday, at 7 a.m., I have someone licking my hand. Get up, dress, and take the dog out. Half an hour, 20 minutes walking around the forest.
Okay.
Eat, even without breakfast, nothing. Just barely with sweatpants, whatever. And that's every day.
Yeah.
Because every day the dog needs to get out.
Yeah. But does that give you time to calm down?
I walk while the dog is just sniffing and doing their things. I'm just walking in silence, many times in darkness. In Finland, more often than not, below 0.
Yes.
Just you, yourself, breathing cold air and feeling how alive you are.
Love that. This is an interesting one. Get a dog.
Get a dog and get out every morning. Every morning.
Every morning. So Delfin, now that we are towards the end of the podcast, I know you shared a lot of insights with us, but if you had to distill your many years of experience for one final message for our young audience here, what would it be?
I would go with never stop being human, being empathetic. If if you treat people as people, you will also be treated like that. Build on your self-awareness and build on emotional intelligence, empathy. So those are the two things, no matter what you do, no matter even studies or work, those are the two things that we all need, you will need for the future. It is very much needed in the working environment. Those self-awareness and emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence and empathy is the word. Thank you so much, Delfin. This was fantastic. I had so much fun learning from you. And if I had to quickly recap everything that we've figured out so far, a hypothetical billboard reminder for you all is to be brave and never regret. We talked about how great leaders think. We covered critical thinking. We talked about the importance of listening. When we were talking about understanding people, we talked about vulnerability, how being open is important and don't conflict it with competency. We also talked about power of asking good questions and why over how and what, all of that can be figured out later. In segment 4, managing oneself, we also talked about listen to respond, don't listen to respond, listen to understand. And finally, we had a very fun rapid fire that ended with getting a dog. I hope our dear audience members, you found this podcast as helpful as I did, and you're taking back some nuggets of wisdom that you can apply in your work. If you have any questions related to leadership, drop them down in the comments below and we'll pick them up in our upcoming videos and podcasts. Remember, leadership is not about control, it's about clarity, curiosity, and character. So think deeply, ask boldly, and always lead with empathy. Thank you, Delfin.
Thank you very much for having me.